Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. Lessons for Life from the book Learn to Live by Swami Jagadatmananda. Chapter 1, Hidden Truth. In this particular subsection, Swami Jagadatmananda discusses about the importance of thoughts. He proves that thought is the architect of life. Fear, doubt and suspicion are powerful but negative, harmful emotions. Thoughts emanating from a fearful, frightened, doubtful and suspicious mind produce negative results, whereas thoughts associated with self-confidence and a positive attitude result in a constructive outcome. Whatever we are now is the result of our thoughts. Thoughts determine our present state of existence. Happiness is the result of good, positive, wholesome thoughts. Negative, bad, unhealthy thoughts lead to misery. We must always introspect ourselves about the quality of thoughts we entertain in our minds. We must be careful about our thoughts. We must always think positive, wholesome thoughts and get rid of all negative, weakening, debilitating thoughts. So, this is a very, very important subject Swami Jagadatmananda dealing with. Now let us listen to his own words on the subsection on this very important topic, Thought the Architect. Swami Jagadatmananda. It is as clear as daylight that thoughts and emotions are the two most important influences upon man's life. He who wants to walk on the path of progress should understand the great power of thought. Whenever a thought associated with fear and doubt leads to an action, it produces generally a negative result. Whenever a thought associated with self-confidence and optimism leads to an action, it has generally a constructive result. Regarding the power of the mind, there is an incontrovertible law. Like attracts like begets like becomes like. In other words, when we think good thoughts, they lead us to good people and good things in life. When we think evil thoughts, they lead us to evil people and evil things in life. This truth, reaffirmed by modern experimental research, was stated by Gautama Buddha about 2500 years ago. What we are today is the fruit of our thoughts. Thoughts are the basis for our present condition. It is made up of our thoughts. If a man speaks having good thoughts in his mind and acts accordingly, happiness follows him, as shadow follows man. If another man goes on thinking evil thoughts and acts accordingly, grief pursues him. Swami Jagadatmananda says, grief chases him wherever he goes, just as wheels follow the legs of the horses drawing a carriage. These profound statements of Gautama Buddha, the Great One, contain an eternal truth and reflect the great importance of the thought. We may have wallowed so far in innumerable, debilitating, humiliating, stupid thoughts. Should we proceed on the path of progress, we should, right from now on, imbibe good thoughts one by one and ennoble our life. If our body is smeared with dirt, no screaming can cleanse us. We have to wash ourselves with clean water. We should cultivate good thoughts and preserve good thoughts. Then evil thoughts will gradually abandon us. It would be greatly helpful to reflect on the message of the life of great men and women who have been free from all kinds of egotism and who have been seekers of truth, ultimate truth. The following are a few ideas about the true nature of thoughts. Once a thought arises in your mind, there is every likelihood that it will occur in the mind again. If one repeats a thought 5, 10 or 20 times, it becomes an integral part of the mind. Though we may not deliberately try to recall it, it remains dormant in the depths of the mind. The powerful thought in your mind exerts its influence not only on yourself, but also on those who are near you. Thoughts can be so powerful that if you think ill of somebody, he is also likely to think ill of you unawares. If you think well of others, they will also wish you well. Sri Aurobindo says, thoughts and ideas are wandering about in thought waves or otherwise, seeking a mind that may embody them. I never heard before of thoughts coming visibly into the mind from outside, but I did not think either of questioning the truth or the possibility. I simply sat down and did it. In a moment, my mind became silent as windless air on a high mountain summit. And then I saw one thought, then another coming in a concrete wave from outside. I flung them away before they could enter and take hold of the brain, and in 3 days I was free. Finding fault with others with enthusiasm and relish will fill you with negative thoughts. Finding faults with others with enthusiasm and relish will fill you with negative thoughts. Your mind becomes a garbage bin where all the rubbish of others is thrown in. It is said that by meditating on God, one realizes Him. By meditating on the faults and shortcomings of others, you will imbibe those qualities. Sri Sarada Devi, the divine consort of Sri Ramakrishna, observed this tendency in human beings, and as her last message, emphasized the point thus: my child, if you want peace of mind, do not find faults with others. Rather, see your own faults. Nobody is a stranger. My dear, try to make the whole world your own. Then is it not desirable that you stop and think what kind of thoughts you welcome into your mind, and what kind of thoughts you drive away, and what kind of thoughts you send out? We should be particularly alert about what sort of thoughts rule our mind before we go to bed. Our conscious mind is about to go to sleep. The unconscious mind does not distinguish between good and evil. It just accepts what it receives and adds its own and returns them all to the conscious mind when necessary. If you feed your mind with thoughts proceeding from anger and hatred or other evil thoughts, you will certainly have sleepless nights. It would be like entering wrong data into a computer. After you wake up, the mind so poisoned will lead you to negative action, thus besmirching your personality. For this reason, Victor Hugo, the famous writer, French writer, said, before going to sleep, have good expectations, love, and forgiveness as your pillow. Then you will wake up in the morning with overwhelming joy and cheerfulness. For this reason, Victor Hugo, the famous French writer, said, before going to sleep, have good expectations, love, and forgiveness as your pillow. Then you will wake up in the morning with overwhelming joy and cheerfulness. Remember, there is a Chitragupta in your mind. So Swami Jagadatmananda discusses this vital subject, the importance of entertaining, cultivating positive, wholesome, healthy thoughts in our minds. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.